to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own concepts. In other words, when we as women come together, we ought to bring blessings. We ought to be able to speak over one another. We ought to be able to speak life into one another. We ought to have a hospitality spirit. Honey, if I see that you are broken and I can't get to you like I really want to, but you got Facebook, guess what? I can come in the inbox and encourage you through scripture or maybe a testimony. I can get your mailbox and send you a little card or something. Women need to come back familiar what it means to be hospital. We need to come back to that form of hospital. I can't say this word, bless my heart. Okay. We need to come back to a place where we just engage with one another. When I cry, you cry. That's real, y'all. That's real. If you get you a friend and a true friend that's like that, they will sit up with you all night long. Long as you going through, they going through. But they the stronger half, but they feel what you feel. And that's how we have to be. When we see women walk in, we shouldn't automatically perceive that they ain't nobody or think that they are know-it-alls because of how they dress, according to their hair, their nails, even the contacts in their eyes. We shouldn't judge a person based on what we are seeing on the outside because we don't know what's going on the inside. And instead of persecuting the other ones, we should be blessing them. Look, you know the old saying that the grandmas used to say, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. So if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Don't get around people who are going to gossip. Because they ain't going to do nothing but you're going to throw your goodness right out the door, and you're going to reap that gossip back. You're going to reap it back. Okay, so that's our first scripture. Had some other stuff. Okay, so let's go to, let me see. Let's go to conceive. The vocabulary word conceive. Conceive means form or devise. It means a plan or idea. In the mind, it originates. It's originating. It creates, and it's developed. It's the development part. Conceive. Plan or idea. I want you to remember plan or idea. Plan or idea. Conception, the action of conceiving. A child or of a childbearing conceived. An unfertilized egg before conception. Impregnation, insemination. We're going to conceive tonight is an example of what conception is. Conceive is a verb, the thought of the idea, and it is the action applied to the idea. Now, does anybody know the difference between conceive and conception? Does anybody know the difference between conception and conceive?
Conception would be when it's already happened. Conceive is when it's being formed. It's in motion.
Right. Exactly right. Thank you, Tanya, for that answer. She's exactly right. Conceive is the forming of. And when we talk about forming of, developing, that's how we begin to think about how we think about ourselves, the people we're around. This is why women can't encourage other women because listen, Let me explain this to you like this. We adults, it's just like having a baby. You're going to make love or have sex, and that's your form of conceiving. But guess what? In between there is a time delay. It may be one day, it may be a couple hours, or it may be 7 days before the actual conception is brought on. In other words, you can't get what you have conceived until after it's been there a while. And when you're having a baby, it usually takes 9 months before you reap what you have conceived. So when we look at women today, let me go in the scripture here. Y'all gotta go with me to I'm going to tell you in a minute. We're going to talk about how this birthing and stuff happens here. 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter. First Samuel, the 2nd chapter. Give y'all time to find it.
The 2nd chapter?
Yes, the 2nd chapter.
Okay.
Okay, are y'all on it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Hold up, my phone shut down. Just give me just a minute. Okay, 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter, is talking about basically Hannah's prayer. Are y'all familiar with Hannah and Peninnah? I'm sorry. Well, Hannah and Peninnah was the wives of this guy. I can't pronounce his name, and I'm not going to try to. Can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah.
Okay, they were the wives of one man at the same time. That's how it was back in the days. Don't y'all try that mess now. You get locked up for it now. But that's how they were back in the days. And Peninnah, she had already had her kids, and she was excited, and she was very, very rude and mean and disrespectful to Hannah. She was very picky-fied towards Hannah. She really didn't want Hannah to have a child. But see, what ended up happening, Hannah ended up having a baby after she prayed and prayed. She prayed, and Hannah went through some things. She went through depression and all that stuff. She went to one part where she couldn't even open. She opened her mouth to pray, and the only thing came out was her lips were moving. But she was praying with her heart. That's how bad she wanted a child. She was hurt. And Peninnah just edged it on. Now, how many Peninnahs do y'all know out there who just edge stuff on, who just keep stuff going for no reason at all?
It's a lot of them.
Yes, it's a lot of them. And they will not encourage you. Instead, they are the type who you will go to and tell your business to. You'll go tell your business to them because you think that, maybe if I let them know this, then we'll be on one accord or something. But it never works with Peninnah. Peninnah ain't like that. Peninnah going to hurt your feelings. Peninnah will have you crying. So that's what happened with Hannah. She picked and picked. But finally, Hannah came to a position where God blessed her with a child, a son named Samuel. Finally came to that position where she had conceived. See, all this time she had been working toward it, and didn't get it. It was all an idea until it actually happened. And that's what we call the conception part, where she actually went through the moments of having that child, the conception part. And one thing I noticed about women, we can't come together on anything. if one of us tries to bring up an idea, if we try to conceive a good idea in the others, guess what the other ones do? They pull back. They either pull back or find a reason why they can't do something. And that ain't nothing but a trick of the enemy, the devil, trying to keep women separated from one another. We need each other as women. We need each other coming together so that these younger women, even these babies, can see how we are toward one another, and then it would grow up in them. It would take root and grow up in them. And we won't have all them Panayas out here picking on other ones, laughing at the rest of them, because when I think about Panaya, I think about so many times when we was in school. I don't know about y'all, but do y'all know what buddies is?
You said buddies?
Oh. Yes, buddies.
The ones that hang tight.
We know the brand Nike, and we know LA Gear, Reebok. Name brand shoes. Name brand shoes. Every child wants to name brand shoes when they're going to school. But when you got 7 to 8 children and your job is just plain, some people can't afford that. So therefore, we got a alternative to that. We got you some cheap shoes. They ain't gonna last long, but you can wear these mugs. And, back then, parents they were tight. They didn't have money like that. So when we would go to school, we would go in the cheap shoes. Well, yeah, we would. We would go in the cheap shoes. We'd go to Super Dollar. People thought Super Dollar was a bad store. If you got your shoes from Super Dollar, they considered it bad. I remember I walked in with my little blue striped shoes on. And the bananas in the classroom. Little young bananas. That's why I'm telling y'all. They start young. They start young and it grows up in them. These little young Panayas, I'm sorry, y'all. These young Panayas were in my class, and they just picked on me and picked on me and picked on me until what? I finally conceived the idea that I was a failure. I finally conceived the idea that my family was poor and broke. I finally conceived the idea that I wasn't good enough to play with them. I finally conceived the idea that that I wasn't ever going to be able to afford those type of shoes in my life. And to tell you the truth, I didn't think I would make it past kindergarten or first grade nor fifth grade. I'm talking about this was in elementary, and I remember these children picking on me about that. So, see, the point I'm trying to get to is that you got to be careful of the things that you conceive in your mouth. You got to be careful of those things that you allow other people to bring into you. And you got to be careful what you put out into other people. Because over time, you might not see it right then. We don't see a full-grown baby whenever they first conceive. But in 9 months later, we see a human. Most people won't even recognize that baby as a human until it is born. But we see 2 arms and a leg 9 months later. 9 months later, women picking on women. Guess what? When this grows up into another woman, she learns to hate. She learns how to hate. She'll begin to hate her family. She'll hate her husband. She'll hate her boyfriend. She'll hate her children. She'll hate the people around her. Can't get along with nobody. Always moving from house to house. Becoming a dysfunctional woman because of what Panaya did whenever she was in elementary. Is anybody with me tonight?
Yeah.
So that's why it's very important that we are careful what we are putting out here on one another and what we receive back in. Because how you perceive yourself, that's how you're going to represent you. You're going to represent you. When you're out here at the grocery store, you represent who you are on the inside. I don't care if you got on a wig down past your butt or you're wearing your natural hair rolled up. It doesn't matter. You're still the same person. You're still the same person. Whatever you believe on the inside, it comes out despite how you look. We have to learn how to accept our flaws and let God